Martin Taylor has established a unique musical career as an internationally acclaimed musician, and his inimitable style has seen him recognised the world over as an exponent of solo jazz guitar playing. Scotland on TV managed a brief chat whilst Martin prepared to perform at Glasgow's International Celtic Connections Festival. Thanks ever so much for seeing Scotland on TV. It's a short notice. I was going to say Martin Taylor because it's Dr. Martin Taylor, MBE. So my first question is, if I play enough guitar, will they make me a doctor?
Well, I don't know. It came as a shock to me, so, so sometimes I still can't quite believe it, but I was very happy to accept both honours.
In some ways, without sounding old-fashioned, playing guitar sometimes could be seen by some as misspent youth or whatever, but of course there's a life to it, isn't it, beyond the idea that you do it in your adolescence and give it up and put it away?
Well, in order to play a musical instrument to any kind of level, first of all you have to start very early, and you have to just play a lot, and of course there's other things that you should be doing when you're younger. You should be doing schoolwork and all kinds of things, like most musicians, I found as a child, I used to get a little bit of a hard time about it sometimes, but I was lucky because my dad was a musician. My dad was a jazz musician.
Bucky?
Buck Taylor. So he was very encouraging about playing the guitar, but I think at school they were... my head was always somewhere else at school.
And guitar playing came easy to you. I don't know whether it's because you traced your lineage back to like a Roman tradition, or whether you were just very lucky, because it doesn't come easy to a lot of people. And you said you were playing from when you were 3 or 4 years old. When you first heard Django Reinhardt playing Sweet Georgia Brown, I think it was your dad actually turned you onto it. You mastered the solo really quickly, so I guess you must have sort of some form of native wit when it comes to guitar playing.
Yeah, well, my dad's side of the family are travelling people, and quite a lot of them are musicians. I said my dad's a musician. And my mother's side of the family come from different background completely. There's a lot of musicians there as well, so I think it's more to do with there's the musician gene in both sides of the family. You always find people that play music will always tell you that there was always somebody somewhere down the line that played music. I saw an interview the other day. It was Ringo Starr, and the interviewer said to him, you're still touring a lot and playing with the band. He said, no, you don't have to do that. You don't need the money. He said, well, no. He said, but it's what I do. He said, I play the drums. I play in bands. I work like being with other musicians and making music. And I worked also quite often with Bill Wyman, who was bass player of the Rolling Stones.
He was actually playing with Celtic Connections as well.
He's playing here too, yeah. And it was the same with him. People said the same thing to him. You don't need to drag yourself all around the world with this band. Why do you do it? I said, well, because I'm a bass player. Mm. It's kind of it's the music bug.
Yes.
The Samoa Connection. That's a great festival. I played there quite a few times. Some wonderful guitar players play.
I'd love to go, of course, because you've got a house in Scotland and in France.
I do, yeah. I live part of the time in France. I work often in France, and I work quite often with Didier Lockwood, along with a bass player, Jean-Philippe Very, who used to work with Stefan as well, after I was working with Stefan. And we do concerts, and we play a lot of those tunes that we used to play with Stefan.
You're known as a jazz guitarist, but you're not marginalised by being a jazz guitarist in that sense, because you play R&B, and you also you play with other people. You play with Alison Burns at the festival as well, aren't you? So I mean, you guest on countless albums, so you're pretty much obviously a musical journeyman on that journey. What's
happened is that I work with a number of people. I work with classical people, classical musicians. I made an album with Bryn Terfel, the opera singer, but it's when they wanted to bring some kind of jazz element to what they were doing, but also know how to do it in a certain way that it doesn't just kind of overpower, the essence of the music, but just brings a jazz element in there. And that's why I've been asked to do a lot of things over the years with other fields of music. I am just a jazz musician, but I can fit some of my things into other styles of music. This evening I'm playing with Shetland musicians who I've known for years. So I just sit there and try not to get too much in the way, and if I can add something that will make it sound good, or I'll play it. If it's just having that taste as well, to know you can't suddenly start playing this lick or that lick over something.
Yeah. A bit of restraint, perhaps.
Yeah, and playing something that contributes to the music.